For those who may not know, your SIM card is located in a little, where's it on this one? Oh, okay. Let's take off the front of this.
Now everybody scream enough respect to the X. Enough respect given.
What's up, YouTube? It's NG, the Neon X, and I'm back. Today I just want to touch on what I've come to realize, or what I've come to read, is a controversy with the new iPhone 14. The SIM tray, or lack thereof.
For those who may not know, your SIM card is pretty much the communication brain of your mobile device. Every phone, up to this point, or just about every phone, has a little tray. In this phone, it is located, if I can get on camera, well, right here. You see, there's a little hole, a little dot. And in that dot, you need to put a special key or a thin piece of metal. I have on me always a SIM key, because like I said, I tend to move SIMs around a lot. You pop it in, you push that, and in here lies your SIM. This card here, let me move that out the way. This card here lets your phone know what your phone number might be and what device your phone number is on. Now, I can easily put this SIM here into this phone here, and this phone would get my phone number. So like I was saying, if anything was happened to my Fold, it died, it cracked, for some reason it wasn't working, and I happen to have my Duo 2 on me with no SIM in it at all, maybe as a Wi-Fi device, I could easily just swap the SIM from this device to that one, and just like that, this becomes my main device. This becomes my device with my phone number that I use, and I'm right back to communicating as I need to be. What Apple has effectively done is taken away this little tray right here, and the ability to easily and sometimes necessarily move your SIM card from device to device. They have made it such that once your iPhone is activated with the eSIM, you have no choice but to use that device no matter what happens. And that is the problem many are having with eSIM only.
When I first heard that this device would no longer have a SIM tray and would force you to use, eSIM, I was not surprised. Simply because that's what Apple does. They try to take away your rights with your device, and then they hide it behind the guise of something brave or magical. Now, when I heard this, the first thing I thought was, well, that doesn't really work for me because I have a lot of phones. I like to swap my SIMs whenever the whim hits. If I choose to use my Pixel 8 today, well, I take out the SIM from whatever phone I want to use it and throw it in the Pixel, or in my Duo, or in my S22 Ultra, or in whatever I might have, my Fold, my iPhone. It was always just a simple switch and you're good to go. Now, with this new iPhone 14, as much as I like the dynamic eye, I am cautious about this device. Simply because the lack of a SIM tray just seems to be another method Apple is trying to use to lock you into their walled garden. And if you're not careful, you will be trapped there. no longer is it going to be, okay, I don't want to use my iPhone today, I want to use whatever else I have about, or I want to test, or I might suit the situation I'm going into more efficiently. It's going to be your iPhone is the only thing you can use unless you go through the hassle of calling whatever service provider you have and have them switch your number from your eSIM to a regular SIM card that you're going to have to buy, because as far as I know, once a SIM card is used, it can't be reused. So it's not like you can have a SIM card just laying about. Swap the number to the eSIM on the device, then when you're ready, swap it back to the regular SIM and throw that SIM in a device. It's no longer a painless process to swap phones in and out as you see fit. Now, granted, most people don't have multiple phones. That's mainly a thing for collectors and enthusiasts and tech tubers, as I like to call them. They get devices to try, and they take out the SIM out of the old one, put it in the new one, and they go test, and they just, experience the device as is. With Apple leading the way on this new eSIM revolution, or let me rephrase, only eSIM revolution, because eSIM is not new. There are a few devices, even if I remember correctly, the old iPhone, the 13, and the 12, if I remember as well, does have the eSIM option. If you did not want to use the eSIM, use a regular SIM. eSIM does work if that is the only device you have and you have no reason to swap out your SIM card. But let's say, hypothetically thinking, that your phone is damaged and the ability to call your provider is not available to you. In these type of situations, you would be able to get what we would consider a burner phone. Just a phone that could access, or an unlocked phone, let's be real, that can access any of the networks as long as the SIM for that carrier is there. Now, that's not a thing you can do. If you happen to break your phone, it's not working, you can't just swap it out.
It can really become a conundrum for many who find themselves in this type of situation. And there's no reason that I can see why Apple would take away the eSIM. I mean, not the eSIM. Why Apple would take away the SIM tray that would help the consumer. I don't see any pro to that move. The only thing I can think of that would cause Apple to make this decision is, like I said, another method to lock you into their ecosystem. There's nothing wrong with an eSIM if that's your sole device, but having the ability to have a regular SIM so you can swap it out if needed, it's much better for the consumer. Most don't have to, but I know for a fact when a phone breaks, when something happens, just being able to take out the SIM and throw it in another phone without the hassle and you're back up and going is way better than having to call up T-Mobile, AT&T, or what have you, and go through the entire procedure of swapping the eSIM to a regular SIM, if you can even get a regular SIM wherever you are. Because no, these things don't grow on trees. You need to go buy one for however much they cost now from the service provider's store. So it's not something I think any consumer actually wants. Yes, you can live with it, and you're going to have to live with it if you get an iPhone 14. And I would assume every iPhone thereafter. But there really is no reason why Apple had to do it, because, like I said, the 12 and the 13 all had eSIM capability and regular SIM trays. So it was your choice, and that's it. That's what Apple keeps taking away. Your choice. There's no reason for them to remove the headphone. I still hold a huge grudge with them for that, because everyone followed suit. The notch, it was just stupid. I understand why. It did lead to some pretty cool innovations, as we see with the iPhone 14, the dynamic eye. So, you know, you take the bad and they actually turn it into a pretty interesting development. But now with the eSIM, you know for a fact, a lot of these Android OEMs are going to start to do the same thing. No SIM tray, because as always, they will follow Apple's lead. And it's going to cause all kinds of debacles when people really start to think about it, especially when the mid-tier and low-tier devices begin to do the same thing, because you know that they will. And when someone gets one of those and they can't easily migrate from one device to the other, they will understand why not having a SIM tray is not the way to go. It's more of a misstep than anything else. But for someone like me, for those who are in the YouTube tech industry or just the mobile tech industry in general, we can more easily deal with it. Am I getting an iPhone 14? Yeah. Why? I like the dynamic eye. I have a device, my iPhone 12 mini. It has its own number, and I have no problem putting that number in the iPhone 14 and connecting it to the eSIM, simply because I have multiple phone numbers. It's not my main number by any means. Very few people even know what that number is. It's a unique number to that device that maybe a few friends, a few family know, so we can share pictures and all of that. And that side of my life doesn't get caught up with my other side, my work and what have you. So someone like me who has multiple phone numbers, not an issue. But for the average guy with a singular device, it will be an issue. And the iPhone is so popular. If you're not thinking, like a lot of Apple users, if they're just going to jump on it, they are going to see the flaw in this path Apple is taking by removing the eSIM. It will cause issues. But people will learn the hard way. Will they adjust to it? Of course. It's just the way things are. They giveth and they taketh away as they see fit. It'll be whatever it is. Well, those are my thoughts on the Apple eSIM fiasco with the iPhone 14. If you are getting a device, to each their own, it's a wonderful device from what I've seen. I know there's going to be many videos on the camera and the dynamic eye and all of that. So no, I look forward to seeing what people do with the device, how it helps them in their daily life. And I also look forward to reading these articles on the lack of a SIM tray, because they will be in abundance very soon. So with that said, my name is Angie, the Neon X, and just sharing my thoughts on this new direction Apple is going with their SIMs. This is what I'm into.